We are Social Blade.
Have you guys ever gone to a website and had to fill out one of those annoying little captchas that you try to post a
Oh my
comment
gosh.
on, or you try to log in too many times,
I
or you're trying
can't
to buy a
I can't
ticket.
stand those things.
Yeah,
I don't know what kind of I mean I know there's different versions and different types of CAPTCHAs and depending on what site and what you're trying to do, the CAPTCHA is either very easy to read or impossible to read. And
yeah.
that's what I dislike about them is I've
Which
been pwned by some CAPTCHAs in my day and it's been horrible.
right, which
Specifically for every CAPTCHA.
yeah, some of the ones that I hate the most. Some sites they're not too bad, but I do a lot of commenting on YouTube, and the YouTube ones are just absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
It's the same ones that Google uses for everything. Now, what would you guys think if instead of just having normal captchas, instead if the captchas were actually advertisements? There's a
What
couple.
do you mean? Do you mean like an impossible logo to identify, like a Pepsi logo that's just all skewed up?
Not
I mean,
not not exactly like that. If you
uh,
if you look on the screen right now, I got an example of one. There's a company out of New York and in Philadelphia called Ad Copy that's just starting up here,
okay.
and they're working on advertisement captures.
Okay.
So this is just an
Huh.
example. Dish Network, not a sponsor of Social Blade.
Mhm.
They have an advertisement here where I guess $180 savings is one of their catchphrases, or it's something that they want to tell you about their product. So you actually
Hmm.
have to type in something related to that advertisement
So in
there.
this example, you'd be typing in 180, $80 savings, and then that would satisfy your CAPTCHA
That
code.
would be the captcha. So what
You know,
the hold on, but the real cool thing about this, or at least from an advertising standpoint, is that if you actually have the customer type something in, it's in school when your teacher tells you to
it's an
write something
impression. You're
down.
right.
Yeah,
It's easier to
it
remember. It's
stays in your
scribed in
mind.
their memory.
Yeah,
Like if
absolutely.
I had to, maybe let's say make a comment on YouTube and up came this ad captcha and
Hmm.
I had to type in $180 savings, I would be like,
Hmm.
Dish Network, $180 savings. I mean, I guess, but at the same time, is this more annoying than those
I
impossible to determine captchas?
I don't think
I'm
so.
not
I
sure.
would I would
Not
absolutely
sure.
prefer something like this. I can
Yeah, I
clearly
mean, this is
see.
definitely more simpler. Like, I would be like, do do do,
Yeah.
but it's better than the captcha where I have to try it out like 5 or 6 times and I'm like struggling to figure out what it is
Yeah.
because I'm blind. This is definitely much simpler. But I don't know. I can see people like, I mean, the last place you'd expect to get some ads served are your captcha pages. I mean, I guess this is kind of it's kind of an open market in the sense of
Hmm.
there's not a lot of ad companies integrating ad schemes in captcha design. But I'm not sure if that's where people need to be seeing ads. I mean, they're usually trying to do something or accomplish something online. The last thing they need is to be annoyed by like,
Well,
oh man, not another Pepsi ad, you
but
know.
again, captchas are a necessary evil on the web to stop spammers or bots and things like that.
Yeah,
And
why not turn it in a
for
way to make money? Hey,
well,
I agree.
I honestly, I use ad block on sites, so I don't see most ads. But if there's something in there, I don't think I'd have much of a problem with that. Though it does, one of the captchas that most people use is translating books. So that I guess will go down a little bit for transcribing them. Sorry, not translating. Um, so those people will lose out a little bit, but I honestly I think it's a decent idea, and
Yeah.
I'd like to see
Ritu
it.
just said something in the room that's pretty insightful, and he thinks as long as it's done in good taste, and
Hmm.
I agree. Like I think like let's say you're watching the latest preview for the newest Google product, and you're going to make a comment, and it asks you for a CAPTCHA. I mean, if they targeted the CAPTCHA marketing schemes for specific
Yeah.
contexts and specific websites that were relevant and maybe even useful in some senses of the word, that could potentially be a great use. But if you're seeing teeth whitening on the CAPTCHA, that's just going to be annoying as hell. So yeah, I mean, if implemented in the correct manner, these things could really be a refreshing way to serve ads on your site. Um, But hey, it's an interesting idea. I mean, obviously there are marketers and people looking to, they're reassessing the totality of the web experience, and obviously someone felt that this was a void that needs to be filled. That somewhere there are CAPTCHAs being served that could be making your company money, and that I understand. So I think it's kind of an inevitability at this point. It's just a matter of time before we see these things everywhere.
I think it's a brilliant idea. I mean, no matter where you go, when you're going on Facebook, you're typing in these captchas. I mean, half of them you can't even understand. So I mean, the one that was on the screen earlier, it says 180 savings. So I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, it's easy to type, and I mean, it gives you're only typing a certain amount of characters, but I mean, the whole business is getting a pretty good exposure. So
Yeah. Oh, totally. This could be a good way to supplement the rest of the running ad schemes on, let's say, a site like YouTube. I mean, this could be millions and millions of extra ads served a day, and the impressions there. I mean, you can't discount that as an impression, because if someone has to type something in response to it, guaranteed impression. Whereas in terms of the way they measure things like CPMs for normal ads that are run on sidebars and headers, there's some disconnect there between how many times the ad was served and how many times the ad was actually seen. Oftentimes because people are using AdBlock Plus.
Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0 coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.